Today on the Magic for Life podcast, we have Doug Boughton. In the last 18 months, Doug went from broke restaurant server to ClickFunnels Dream Car Winner, earning multiple six figures in 2019. Now, founder of the Fulltime Freedom Movement, Doug is on a mission to provide the step-by-step blueprint for entrepreneurial success. Let's cue the intro and jump right in. I've spent the last 20 years studying, teaching, and coaching people to find their greatness and take their lives to the next level. Along the way, it's become evident that emotions are at the root of everybody's successes and failures. Worry and fear are the enemies, and it's time to forge the armor and earn the tools to overcome the two things that could single-handedly destroy your future. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson, and I'm a life coach, a peak performance trainer, and I'm the emotions guy. It's time to take back control of how you feel, control of how you act, and control of how you experience life. It's time to become a lifer, a new breed of overachiever focused on living every minute to its fullest. We are responsible for how we feel, and no one and no thing can make us feel anything. Emotional mastery is our journey, and emotional education and intelligence is the key. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life. What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast, and I'm excited that you joined me today because today we have the wonderful, the great Doug Boughton. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate that. Did you say lifers, by the way?
Yeah, lifers. That's our group. That's our tribe.
Yes. So I call people in my life that are meant to be in my life, especially in a long, like for the long haul. I call them lifers, and I think
Nice.
That's pretty magical right there. I love that.
Absolutely. I picked it up along the way from one of my mentors, and
Cool.
and she was talking to me about some clients that we had, and she's like, that client's a lifer. They're going to be with you forever. They're going to follow you along, and they're going to be supporters, and they're going to be in. And as we started creating Magic for Life, it was the right thing, because what we're working on is life. We're working on this journey. And so it's pretty cool. So, I've just been, and I mentioned this before we jumped on the podcast, that I just have been admiring, your journey from afar and watching a lot of things that you're doing in the background. And I was so excited to get on today and learn more about your backstory and how you went through. I mean, some of the stuff that's in your biography is like, wait a second, you went from what to how, and what'd you do? So I'd love if you join from the beginning and catch us all up on how in the heck you went from being a server to winning, the award through ClickFunnels. And it blows me away. I mean, what a huge ascension. And then again, you're ascending again. I'm watching you do all these cool things. So give us some of your backstory and tell us how this all got started and how you got here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting because, years ago, I would never have imagined, being at the level I am now. And, I'm just getting started. So it's fun, and it's always evolving. And when I first got started, really it was created, like I was looking for a way to make money online through, a really bad situation. So I went to college, 5-year program, had to drop out of school my senior year because I couldn't get my co-signer. I needed a new co-signer. My mom co-signed my first 2 years. My grandmother co-signed my next 2 years. And then they wanted somebody new to finish out the last year. And, I wasn't able to finish that degree. So that $56,000 of debt that I took on actually more than doubled by the time I finished school. So dropped out, got back to Connecticut I went to school in Philadelphia, and I got that call from Sally Mae, now it's Navient, saying, hey, you have these loans, $114,000. We're going to start you paying here. And I said, wait, well, what? I'm like, no, I took out $56,000. Well, you were on subsidized loans. With the accrued interest from day one of signing. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I'd never read that stuff, and that's my own fault. But I felt like immediately robbed. Like, I was devastated. I mean, I'm working a full-time sales role, 100% door-to-door job at this time. Had 2 restaurant jobs, and still couldn't really keep up. Like, I'm still just getting by. Now I'm going to add $1,000 bill to my monthly bills, and most of that's interest only. It was insane. So that really put a fire under me. And my grandmother, believe it or not, we call her Nani. It's an Italian thing. And she reached out and she said, Doug, I know you're falling behind on payments and that's affecting my credit, and we got to figure something out. She goes, I know you're already working a lot and you're good at what you do. I think you should take a look at something. So she brought me to a meeting on a Saturday morning, and she was approached by somebody at her open house. She was doing real estate part-time back then. And they brought up this business opportunity, and she didn't really want to have any interest in it. She's like, this isn't for me, but I know someone who would be interested in this. So they brought me in, and that was a network marketing meeting. And that was my first introduction to this world of online marketing. And it's just funny that my grandmother was the one who actually introduced me to it. But yeah, from there, I mean, that was about 10 years ago, and it's been a journey since. And I've, failed forward through multiple business ideas. And I couldn't tell you how many ups and downs there were, but it's all led to where I am now. And I'm grateful for everything I've learned through every single one of those businesses I started, whether it worked out or it didn't. Most of them didn't, but I learned something in every single one of them.
It's amazing how many things go behind the scenes, and I've seen a few of those memes come up, lately. Where they're like, you were an overnight success. And you're like, yeah, overnight, right after all of the 20 businesses I tried to make work up to this point, and now I'm overnight.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What kind of things did you do during that time?
Sure. I started doing my first one ever was called CM. We sold like communication systems and try to lower your phone bills, and really it wasn't. It was, typical network marketing stuff. But I started going door to door when energy deregulated. We would sell electric rates in Northeast, and we did really well with that one, but we never got paid out from that company, which was pretty lame. We spent a lot of time getting a lot of new customers for them. And then I've done affiliate marketing. I've sold e-commerce, trying to find like a physical product, drop shipping kind of deal. And that was probably my worst failure yet, but that was how I found ClickFunnels. So that's a huge win for me.
Sure.
And, I've just kind of dabbled, most of those business ideas in the beginning were network marketing related, and I was always doing at least 3 or 4 of them at a time. We were told, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Oh, I need to start 7 things. Let's do it. Let's do all of them too at the same time. So I've done things from like printing T-shirts, and I've done quite a few things in the last decade.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you was that after you found ClickFunnels? Like, did you do the whole funnel T-shirt funnel thing?
No, actually in college, I was part of Group Life, and in between intern, we worked half a year, and we would, as an intern, and we would go to school half a year. And that half year I wasn't working. I didn't want to have a part-time job, so I would sell my homework notes. Fun fact, and I made like these exam study guides I would sell. And then I would sell T-shirts to Greek Life. So we would get pre-orders, shirt size, everything I need to know for inventory. We would get these shirts printed, 6 color front and back for like $5, and we would sell them back to them for $25. But that included the whole design fee and everything like that. Right. So we had 14 fraternities, I believe, and I had almost all of them as accounts. And me and my buddy, we did really well with that. And I'd love to do something like that now, like even just for my community, like create my swag, right? And I still haven't done that, but it was fun. It was a great creative outlet for me, for sure.
That's so cool. And so you've been an entrepreneur. I mean, just like the whole way. Like, it just seems like you're always doing something to just be in the game.
I mean, even I was like 14, 15, I had a paper route, and me and I have a twin brother, and we would take our bikes and we'd go do our paper route in the morning. And in a year's time, that turned into 5 paper routes. We were like trying to find out who owned those routes. We'd find that person and like try to like get them, like give it to us or bribe them out of it or something. Like I'm telling you, like I've always had something that I've wanted to do my own thing. Like I had a really tough time working for people. Even in my teens, even through my internships in college. Most of the jobs I've had, I've been fired from, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit that, but I just couldn't get myself to do it. Like I'm always trying to do my own thing. Sometimes it was like me working on my own thing while I'm at that job, and I know it's not okay, but I just always had that push to go out there and make it happen.
It was like, the entrepreneurial spirit was pulling on you from day one. You said you had a twin as well? That's an unusual fact. And entrepreneur as well?
I would say so, but he's currently a project manager for a big construction company back east. And well, this is the thing. So he works a full-time salary position. Then he has two other clients that pay him a full-time salary to do estimates for them.
My gosh.
And now he's trying to take on more client work. And I'm like, man, you need an assistant. I'm like, or you need to quit the full-time gig and take on more of these side projects to grow a property management company. But he still wants to get the experience, rise through the ranks, and get the network. And, he's doing it the right way. But I would say he's definitely an entrepreneur at heart.
Are you guys identical twins?
You would think so. I think a lot of people confuse us, but we're not.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask if you had I always ask the identical twins. I dated a set of twins once. It was not a good idea. And, you always want to know if there's like a special mental bond, right?
Yeah. Well,
that'd be the case.
I think it's like with siblings in general, especially if you're close with your brothers or sisters, there's absolutely a bond. And then when you're like the exact same age and similar, even down to like the interests, there's definitely, things. I'll call him some days and he'll say what he's doing. I'm like, I'm doing the same thing too. And it's such a weird thing. It's like, how the heck is that? It's really funny.
That's awesome. So then what was the transition then once you found ClickFunnels? Did you go straight into affiliate when you found ClickFunnels?
So when I found ClickFunnels, I was actually I was doing part-time agency work. So through all those, I call them fail forwards, I had learned some skills about digital marketing and online marketing. And part of that was WordPress and Optimized Press. But I could never get the pages to look the way I wanted them to.
Right.
Modeling other people. I'm like, how are they doing this? This is cool, but I can't figure it out. And I found an ad for ClickFunnels and I started using it, built out my own website just for practice. And then I built out some landing pages for some other things I was, testing out. From there, I started building out websites for local businesses. And ClickFunnels, I know, isn't a website builder, but for like a local restaurant where they just want their menu online, it worked perfectly. And I would rank them on Google Maps and it worked out pretty nicely.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I first got started. And I did that for about 2 years on and off, but I always kind of remembered having that account and just loved it. I loved just getting in there, messing around with the elements and make it the way I could customize it and things like that. I just loved learning it. But I realized I'm not really making enough money to pay for this account. And I saw a lot of people in that situation with ClickFunnels. A lot of people have ClickFunnels, over 100,000 users now. I would say maybe 10,000 of those users are probably using it profitably.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was kind of the gap that I was looking to fill. I'm like, no more do I want people paying for this thing and not utilizing it and making the money with it, because it's an amazing tool. And honestly, I think, everyone should have some kind of software that helps them do what ClickFunnels does. Not necessarily have ClickFunnels, but there's so many different tools out there now that could help any average person without any tech skills go out there and get their message online, take payments online, build their email list, build their following. And even if you don't know what you want to do, just start somewhere. The next thing will kind of show its face.
For sure. I mean, that's a huge jump. I mean, I know some of our listeners, and I've tried affiliate marketing stuff, and there's certainly those of you that have figured out how to make affiliate marketing work. And what do you think, without giving away your proprietary secrets, what do you think was the big difference for you in affiliate? Because I hear a lot of people trying it and they flop. What was the big deal that got you to the dream car winning level of success?
Yeah. And I think it's a great question. And I think that I definitely know the number one mistake people come into this marketplace and why they fail and why they're not getting their result. And I was one of those people. One, it's focusing on too many things. And for me, I have an acronym, it's REAL. I look for real products to sell online. I'm not going to promote something if I'm not using it, if I'm not loving it. And to me, REAL stands for relatable. This product has to absolutely relate to my background, my story, my experiences. E, you have to earn. There's got to be some good earn potential. Don't go promote something that's paying you half a percentage of something.
Right.
The commission with ClickFunnels is pretty damn amazing. I love that they're so generous with that. Sometimes 100% commissions on certain things.
Yeah.
A, alignment. You have to align with the company. So a lot of people come to me, Doug, why do you promote ClickFunnels? There's better softwares, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know the owners. I don't know if they're loyal. I don't know their commitment to the software, the support they're giving it. the support that they give to their community, the education they're providing. So for me, there has to be some kind of alignment. And with ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson, to liberate and educate entrepreneurs, give them tools and resources they need, like that's what I stand for. So absolutely, I'm gonna go stand behind that. And lastly, L, which is longevity. I mentioned I spent 10 years promoting things that I didn't really align with, and I did well. I did some well in some of those network marketing companies. I built up 5-figure incomes per month, and then next month it'd be gone because something changes or, the company goes under. And I was so tired of instability. I really look for people that are going to be around here long term. So yeah, really just finding, people call me, like, I'm known in the affiliate world, especially in ClickFunnels arena, but I don't consider myself an affiliate marketer. I just have found a product that I love so much that I saw a gap that I could fill. And I decided to go out there and fill it. And that was by creating something of value that will solve a problem for people. And I gave away for free. And when I gave that away for free, it was basically a free course teaching ClickFunnels, 5 ways to monetize, because the gap I found was people aren't making money with it. Well, there's 5 ways that I noticed you could go out there and start today, make some money with ClickFunnels. And that's go out there and start designing and selling funnels. You can sell your templates, whatever you want to do. Number 2 is agency. You go out there and start doing lead generation for local businesses by setting an opt-in page for them and helping them with their email marketing, things like that. Number 3, you can go out there and sell physical products through a funnel. One of my favorites, number 4, is digital products. Go out there and create a course of your own and go out there and monetize it, and go and help somebody with your own solution that you fill a gap with. And then lastly is affiliate side of things. And I think if you're doing any of the first 4, you should absolutely still go out there and recommend and promote ClickFunnels, because for me, it brought me from negative in the bank when I quit my job to 6 figures in 4 months of just affiliate commissions, and then launched my course, which was another revenue stream for me. And the whole, I think just hitting Dream Car, I launched my Facebook group a month after I quit my restaurant job. And at that time I was doing full-time agency work. I was building out websites for restaurants and helping them with something. And I lost those clients. I just didn't expect that. And then I had the choice to go back to that restaurant or go all in on affiliate marketing. Because, when I was talking about the agency, the only thing I really liked about the agency was that 40% commission I was making on each of their accounts.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing. I'm like, how do I get to 100 clients? I'm like, I can't even keep up with the few clients I have, never mind getting 100. There's no way I could do that. And if you guys don't know, 100 clients or 100 referrals to ClickFunnels, it's called the Dream Car Award. They basically honor you with a trophy or award at Funnel Hacking Live and walk stage in front of 5,000 people to collect that. But they'll pay your car up to $500 a month, which is an amazing thing. So, yeah.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you said that you have a course that you promoted and push and that you do. So can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah. So when I first started that journey, I realized, what are all the other Dream Car Winners doing? How do I get to 100 ClickFunnels referrals? If I can make 40% commission on all 100 accounts, that's more money than I've made in the restaurant last year, every month paid to me. So I noticed that they all had Facebook groups. So I joined their Facebook groups, saw what they were doing. A lot of them were doing a business in a box type funnel, which isn't really kind of allowed, or not allowed, but it's kind of gimmicky, I guess you could say these days. But none of them were going live. No one was on video. Very few were doing video. Right. Very few were giving away anything of value. It was all pitch. Right. And I'm like, if I could just get uncomfortable enough to go out there and create something that they're selling and give away for free, which most of them had their own course. So I'm like, I'm going to create a course. I'm going to give away for free. And then I'm going to go live. I'm going to get uncomfortable and just keep doing the live thing. And I think that I could maybe make myself stand out a little bit more. Sure. And by the way, that was scarcity mindset. How am I going to compete with these people? But really, there's no competition. We think there's competition because we all know each other. So it's close knit, contained. But there are millions of business owners out there who've never even heard of ClickFunnels. And it doesn't matter how many people are doing what I even do now. Go out there and do it. Just go and speak to a specific niche, a specific audience. And that avatar is probably you 2 years ago. And speak to them, and you'll be successful at that.
I think that's so important. I hear it so often with the entrepreneurs that I'm privileged to work with, and they're all so worried that somebody else has already done it. And
Yeah.
there's so much evidence over and over and over again that it doesn't matter. I mean, for goodness sakes, Amazon started well after eBay and well after Walmart, and Amazon is crushing it now. And like they just went and did what they did, and they did it their way, and it turned out a little different each step of the way. I mean, I remember when eBay was the thing. Like people asked me at a time, I was a certified eBay provider, and we're coaching and teaching eBay, and they're like, should we do Amazon? We're like, no, don't do Amazon. No, stick with eBay. This is proven. It's the way it works. Next thing you know, Amazon's a freaking juggernaut,
Yeah.
it just takes people doing that. And it's a little hard to convince them sometimes. What do you, from your, teachings and what you're doing with all of your tribe, what do you tell them when they say that? Like, what do you say to get them past that hump?
It's validation that this is something that is serving the world, or at least a specific industry, because if someone's already doing it, it's a good sign. It means that people
Right.
need that, want that, and you could absolutely go out there and model or change things that, I'm always looking at things like how can I make them better, or how can I fill a gap. Like, obviously ClickFunnels is amazing. They have great training, but they still missed a gap between, consumer that has no clue what online marketing is, what a sales funnel is. And I didn't know I was a good teacher, but I found out that like I can teach people
Right.
In a manner, because I remember, like, myself in that position a few years back. Like, I just tried to teach myself, or teach the way I would have wanted to be taught back then. So like everything I create is kind of like, what would have I needed when I first started that could have saved me 8 years of my life? And I try to teach that and try to shorten that gap.
Sure.
So I think it's just finding out, how can you make it better? How can you make it more relatable to your audience, most importantly? Because again, like, we're speaking to a specific type of person. And I tell people that are trying to model what I'm doing in my program, I'm like, don't feel bad. Like, go out there and like serve the people that are more likely to work with you than ever even listen to me, because there are people that want you. Like, you need to go out there and share your experience, share your stories, and you'll grow your following because of that.
Yeah, sure. That's
Mhm.
crazy. So when everything wasn't working out, and when you had no money and the money really wasn't coming in, I mean, we all kind of get like sometimes you're just making it, right? How did you keep your emotions in check and keep yourself pushing through some of those moments?
Yeah, the hardest thing for me was when I lost 2 clients. That was in December, Christmas time, and it was a rough Christmas. And everyone's like, "Oh, Doug's doing so well. He quit his restaurant job. He's got these clients. His business is thriving." And here I am, actually, like, with my last $100 in my bank account, and Christmas is there, and like I'm showing up with cards and nothing in them, and it's like, that was tough.
Yeah.
And I luckily had some support at the time, and my girlfriend at the time, she basically bought me a ticket to Fall Hacking Live and gave me $2,000 loan to go there. And because I knew, like, if I could just get in that room and find out what these people are doing and make some good connections, I could be really successful at this. And I was really grateful for that. And I know not everyone has that kind of support, so that just made it a lot easier for me, definitely emotionally. But it's definitely not easy. But I think when you get to the bottom and you have no choice but to rise, like, if we're human, we are gonna survive. We're gonna thrive. And like, it's when you get put in a corner, that's, I think, when things really happen. And if you even know about like the Profit First book, it's interesting. He talks about having multiple accounts and keeping his bank account so low that obviously there's money in other accounts, but his business account always stays at a certain level, because it's like, oh, like, we got to make some money. And when you have that, you wake up every day and you're looking at that number and you just want to keep getting that to a higher level. Like, you're gonna work. You're not gonna get comfortable, and I think that's important to remember. So, if you aren't feeling emotional, it's probably mean that you're a little comfortable right now, and you probably should, level up a little bit.
Right. I believe that, what you focus on, you get.
Yeah.
And in the last, like, let's say 3 years or so, you've really started just accelerating. And it's probably been longer than that. This is what people see in the outside is never accurate, of course. But like in the last 3 years particularly, what kind of things have you done and focused on specifically that's helped you continue to be on the upslope?
Sure. Yeah, it's a constant journey. And for me, actually, it will be 2 years, November 30th, that I've left my full-time job. And it probably took about 3 or 4 months to really get the income rolling in to support it. But you're right. Like you said, we can create a vision and figure out what steps we need to take to get there. And for me, it's like when I state something, I find it's coming to reality for me about 6-month increments, which is really cool. And now hopefully even faster because of the things I'm implementing, we could probably talk about in a little bit here. And it's, I think just something that's really helped me is knowing what I want and then going for it. It hasn't been easy. Like for example, like trying to transition, not away from ClickFunnels, but like trying to grow and evolve my brand beyond just sales funnels, beyond just affiliate marketing, because I'm not either of those things. Like,
Right.
I'm trying to free entrepreneurs, those entrepreneurs who feel stuck in jobs, and give them the courage not to wait 2 years, 8 years, 10 years to quit. Because when I decided I wanted to leave my restaurant job, I made it happen in about 2 months. And I just sat down and realized, like, what do I actually need to make a month to get out of this? And what can I eliminate? What can I do? And then what can I do to make that income replace that? And I know that's not easy for everybody. People have families, and I luckily was, pretty much single man with no kids, and I could go out there and take a risk like that.
Sure.
We all create whatever reality we want. And it's just
Right.
outlining the goal, setting the big project, breaking that project down into tasks, and scheduling. Like, that's the thing, scheduling what you need to do each week, each day, each hour. And I've only been working like that for the last 3 months, but the last 3 months for me has been just, I'm pulling back the arrow and ready to let go of it.
That's huge. And doing it, it's a lot easier to say it than it is to do it. And so that's huge that you've been able to accomplish that. The ability to communicate, you've kind of mentioned it along the way, and you said you were pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to go on and do lives in your group because others weren't doing it. So you're like, okay, well, let's do that, and let's use that as a means by which to differentiate. And you've had to kind of work yourself through and get out of that. Now, a lot of that I feel like is probably what you're communicating to yourself, not necessarily just what you're communicating out. So what kind of things do you find yourself saying to yourself on a regular basis in that communication, that internal communication, that you feel like we could benefit from because you figured it out?
Yeah, lately it's been, who do I need to become? And that's been really powerful for me right now, because not to say that I've been comfortable, but any person probably would feel pretty comfortable with where I'm at right now. Like, I felt pretty comfortable. Like, do I want to go on there and grow a multiple 7-figure business? Do I want all that pressure and that responsibility? And I find myself battling with that, but the answer is absolutely yes. I want to have that impact on people, and I want to have that reach. And for me to do that, I have to evolve and become someone, like, for example, like, this is like about within the last week, I just bought the book called The Perfect Day Formula, and I'm starting something new called 75 Hard. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's 75 days, 2 workouts a day. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to read 10 pages a day. You can't have any sugar. You have to stick to a diet, no cheat meals. And I'm probably forgetting one of the other rules, but it's really, like, I've never gone without sugar for like 2 days. All right. Like, I love my sweets. And for me to commit to that is scary, but every day, like, I'm 3 days in right now, and like, I'm excited to go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow before the sun comes up. And I've never had that before. But I've realized, like, back to the question is, like, who do I need to become? And it's not like, I've been out there trying to save everybody I come across, everyone in my program, trying to give them everything I can. And I've ignored myself in that for a while now. And someone said, like, people don't need you to save them. They need to watch you save themselves. And I heard that like 2 days ago. And I'm like, So I'm documenting that journey now, me going through this and hoping to inspire other people to level up, because at the end of the day, it really is all about the mind, and
Yeah.
everything in business comes from that. Everything in life comes from that. Like your confidence, your trusting yourself is your confidence. So do you trust yourself? Are you proud of yourself, your body, your mind, and where you're at? And if not, like, go out there and do something different.
Yeah, sure. Through all of that, there's, our human nature is to go to these places where fear and worry, maybe fear more than anything, but come into play in a major way. And so how have you learned to manage or control fear and worry specifically to fight through?
Yeah. It's so funny, like, new level, new devil, right? And I'm going through like a new
Right.
point in my business right now. And it's like, I have to hire more people. I
Right.
have to make a huge investment in something I want to implement in my new workshop I'm launching this year. It's a physical box I'm going to be shipping out, but the investment is like um, $37 a box for 1,000 boxes plus the fee for the company to help me with that. I'm like, this is the most investment I've ever made in my business. And part of me is like, oh, is this going to work? Like, is it going to it's going to be whatever you want it to be. And if
Right.
you start thinking, is it going to work? It's whatever you think. And like, it's
Right.
so powerful, the mind. And like, I found myself today wondering like, man, what's going on in my Facebook group? Like, should I just get rid of it? Like, I still deal with these things every
Right.
day, but then I have to remind myself, like, it's going to become whatever you want to become and where you focus those efforts. And
Yeah.
that might sound woo woo, but I'm convinced at this point that it's 100% reality. It's
Yeah.
100% real, because I've watched it time and time again. And when I do get down those rabbit holes, the more negative I get, the more things happening, that are affecting my life negatively. So, you
That's
know,
funny.
what you do and the mindset, and
Yeah.
it is the most important thing in life and business is your mind. And I'm really realizing that now. And that's where my main focus is going to be for the
I think
next
that's
few
the
years.
hardest part. Like, I mean, my company's called Majic for Life, for goodness sake. Like a lot of times you get, I get a lot of entrepreneurs that do come in and they go, that's a bunch of, whatever stuff. And yet every one of the entrepreneurs that has found their way to their success and being fulfilled on both sides, not just, oh, I made money, because you can trip over money and still be unhappy. And so trying to find that balance of both and still heading towards your own personal legend can be challenging. But I mean, literally, I was on an interview earlier today, and it was with Catherine. And she was like, yeah, I remember 5 years ago, I would have said that you were like, woo, very woo, like kind of woo woo stuff mindset, and she's like, now, no way, not a chance, and it's a big deal, because it's not fake for your life. It is magic. And I think that's the thing. Like people think about mindset and it's like, well, it's not tangible. It's not a dollar. It's not something that I can exchange. And it's like, well, yeah, but you created it here. And that's where we start. And what a perfect example your story and your journey has proven that to be. And as you continue down that line, you can see it coming. And it's just, like I said, it's been fun admiring and watching from afar and watching you do what you do, because it's just cool to see that ascension. And have you found along the way that that you've gotten involved in masterminds and coachings and stuff like that, like has that been a big part of your journey as well?
I'd say number two, besides mindset, but maybe even number one, because I would not have this mindset without my mentor. My mentors now.
Yeah.
And I invested in my first mentor. I had $450 in the bank account, and it was March, so I had my Facebook group about 2 months in. It was starting to monetize, and he came in. He reached out to me, said, "Hey, I love what you're doing in your group. You're very active. I see what you're about to do. It's a great strategy, but I think you could do something a little bit better, and this is what I have for you." And it was basically, an invitation to come work with him and his team. And his offer was $5,000. And I'm like, my car's worth like $2,000. Like, there's $5,000 to me. It's like, it's impossible,
Yeah.
And then I realized, this guy's really adamant. He's really convinced he's going to be able to help me.
Yeah.
And I trusted him. told him I don't really have the money yet, but there's some affiliate income coming in through ClickFunnels. I should have it in like a few more days because of the wait period. And I gave him a portion of that $450. I needed some for groceries that week. And I let go, and I was scared shitless. I was scared.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Like, I owe this guy now almost $4,700. Like, what am I going to do? And with his instruction, I went out and I launched the beta for my paid version of my free course. I just evolved a little bit, and we sold $34,000 in 2 weeks. And I mean, that's what I made last year before in the restaurant,
Right.
tables. So, and at that moment, it all just clicked. And I think it's like when you level up, like you won't go backwards if you don't, unless it's something really like kind of shifts, or, you know. But for me, it was like, okay, what's next? And you see this with all entrepreneurs, like 5 figures, okay, we're gonna hit 6 figures, now we're hit 7 figures, and we keep chasing the chase. Even when we say, I'd be perfectly fine at $1 million a year. But no, we know that that's not true.
Right.
And it's not really about the money. It's about the challenge. It's about leveling up, improving ourselves and our systems and our people. Yeah, and it's such an interesting thing. But I would say it's been momentous for me to have a mentor. And now I continue to invest. People look at my bank statements and like, my bookkeeper is always like, what are you doing? Like, I seriously reinvest probably 80% of the profit in my business into, you know, things in my business.
Yeah.
So I maybe I like spending my money, I guess. But I know what it's going to do for me when I invest that kind of money. And
Sure.
A lot of times I buy into masterminds just for the network. Like, one connection in that mastermind could simply pay for that enrollment fee. One connection. And there's probably hundreds usually. So it's powerful.
It's crazy. And I kind of feel that way too. You know, it's just, those connections are so valuable. And wow, that's really cool. So I want to jump into our lightning round from Majic Flow, right?
Awesome.
And this is, I call it our go-to emotions. And so I'll ask you I'll give you a category, and then you'll tell us what emotion goes with it. So we'll do your go-to emotion for the category and your limiting emotion for the category. Going go-to when it's going well, and limiting when it's going poorly. And we'll kind of go from there. So first category is in business as a whole. What's your go-to emotion when things are going well?
Go-to emotion. Ambition came to mind, but I don't think it's really an emotion. Being proud of itself. Yeah.
Cool. And what's your limiting emotion when things are going poorly?
Oh, it's definitely like, I want to say self-awareness, but that's not really, that's a tough, like for me, it's like, what am I doing wrong? I don't know what kind of emotion that would be. What am I doing wrong? But like, why am I not seeing that I'm doing that thing wrong? Because I'm usually pretty self-aware. So like, I'm trying to find out, can I see what I'm doing wrong? Like, why am I thinking that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next category, partnerships. You've had, I'm sure, plenty of partnerships along the way, and still, when things are going well, what's your go-to emotion?
Excitement.
Okay. And when things are going poorly, what's your limiting?
Retractment, like just kind of pulling back, like I just want to do it alone.
Yeah. Right.
Like isolation. That's the word, isolation.
Yeah. Okay. And two different categories for this one. Coaching. I know you're a coach, and I know you get your coaching. So first, when you're coaching and you're working with other of your students, when things are going well, what's your go-to emotion?
Accomplished. Like, I feel, I don't know if that's really an emotion either.
No, that's great.
Yeah. I feel accomplished. I feel like one of my most favorite moments every week is that Wednesday right at noon when I finish that call. I feel really accomplished.
Nice. And when things are going poorly, when you're coaching, what's your limiting emotion?
Overwhelm.
Okay. And when you're being coached, and you have your mentor working with you, what's your go-to emotion when things are going well?
Mm, I'm being coached. What's my emotion when things are going well? I'm trying to think of, like, I think I already said excited, but like I get like really excited when things are going well.
Yeah,
And it's like in a curious kind of way.
sure.
What else is possible?
Okay. And when things are going poorly, what's the limiting emotion?
Um, Resentment.
Okay. And relationship. When things are going well, what's your go-to emotion for your relationship?
Love. That's
Nice.
friendships, family, that's everything. Love. Yeah.
And when things are going poorly, what's the limiting emotion?
Isolation comes to mind again, like just like leave me alone. I want to be alone. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, and that's our shtick as an entrepreneur, especially, growing and moving through the ranks. It's so easy to feel alone. And like, you tell your ideas to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna change the world.
Here's a job application, go fill it out, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. That's the last category. So I appreciate you playing along. It's always fun because as entrepreneurs, I feel like these are things that I would have wanted to know as well along the way. Like, hey, I feel this way all the time. I must be a weirdo because all these other entrepreneurs are doing great and they're successful and they must not ever feel like I feel. And so I do this with every one of our guests, and it's so cool just to see the real Doug Boughton. So I appreciate you.
I share that. Like, I'll probably send emails and post things that most people will never post. And I do that because I know where people in my audience are in their mind. And like, if we meet them where they are in their head, we can really help them get out of it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, you're doing a lot of cool things, and like I said, I've been watching and it's been fun to see all the cool stuff you're doing. But can you tell our audience and all the lifers out there about what you're up to and how they can find you, how we can get them in touch with you and connect with you? Because, we want to make sure that they know who you are.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I'm someone who really likes to share what's worked, what hasn't worked for me over the last 6 months, 12 months. And what I've realized what's really helped me get to where I am is by just creating value in the marketplace. So I actually teach a workshop every month. It's called the 5-day Freedom Funnel Workshop. And what that does is we go through 5 days and we actually build out a piece of content that will attract, nurture, and convert your leads into customers on autopilot. And it takes some time to build this thing out. But imagine having just one piece of content you could send somebody and it's a freebie and they can go through it. And these videos are going to get to help them fill that gap and understand what you can do to help them solve their problem. By the end of these videos, they want to work with you. They end up buying your courses. They end up buying your softwares. And that's what we do in that workshop. So that's kind of my big thing that we're focused on right now moving forward. It's the entry into what I do. And that's my 5-day Freedom Funnel Workshop.
Awesome. And we'll put the link to that in the description so that they can find their way to you and go check it out, because
Awesome.
They don't want to miss out on this. I sure appreciate you. You are a pretty cool cat, and it's sure fun to get to know you. And I'm sure our audience is going to appreciate getting to know you as well. And we sure look forward to continuing to follow your journey and watch you rise to the top. Because
right back at you, and appreciate you having me. And thank you guys for listening. For all you guys out there listening.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Thank you.
Hey, lifers, don't forget to get your free copy of the Every Minute Book. You can find it at everyminutebook.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.